Little late, little slow, little everything. I had a feeling life was going to hold me up, but we're here. We're going to start building this thing. And I'll put the camera down there so you can see what I'm going to be working on, because who cares about my fat ass? Yeah. So we're going to be working on this thing today. Hopefully, I'm going to get all the gantries built. Again, I'm kind of changing their order of operation. There's nothing wrong with what they do. There's a couple of spots they make you put something together and then take it apart again later on. It's not a big deal. It's just, I don't know. It's kind of chilly out, and I'd rather do everything small, gantry-wise, and then just build the big frame probably tomorrow when it's warmer. I might do it this afternoon if I can get everything done. So, yeah. I got to get everything organized here that I'm going to need. And now I got to remember what I'm going to need. I don't need all of these yet. I am going to do the ZX part first, which is the one of these. And again, maybe I'll do the Ys first, because all they are is attaching the long ones of these to this, basically. You take these longer ones, then you screw it on there, and you're done. And it goes to this side, if I remember correctly. I will have to look. And I got my little iPad right here. So I'm going to watch their video to make my video. All right. I am going to record it like I have been to later on make a better edited video if someone ever was going to buy one of these and wanted to watch it. Again, I'm changing the order of operations from what their original video states, more because again, to avoid a couple of spots where they make you disassemble it. They have you put they literally have you put this on the C-beam. I mean, it's not a big deal. They have you put this on the C-beam. Okay, this is all mounted to the gantry, and they have you adjust the eccentrics, and then they have you take it off to put this on. I already put this on. It's like, why you take it off to put this on? They also have you do that later. There's an end cap that holds the bearings and the compressions and all that on the bottom of this. They have you build this whole gantry, mount this C-beam on it, all nice and flush, bolt it all down, and there's a few, screws and bolts. Then come back and unbolt it and shift it up, because you got to put the end plate on it, and the end plate needs to be flush at the bottom. It's like, I'm going to put the end plate on it first, build the whole thing, then assemble the lead screw onto it, then slide this onto it. It just seems to make more sense to me, that's all. It's not a big deal. It just makes more sense to do it once than twice. Other than that, whatever. I am live, right? Yes. I've had that happen before where I'm not actually live. So it's almost 9 o'clock. I'm going to set up here. I think I am going to put these on first because they're easier. I played their YouTube thingy the last time, and YouTube flagged it. I didn't even think about that. They did allow it. I played their, OpenBuilds own video. Oh, yeah, I got to start recording. I played OpenBuilds own video during my build, during recording the live stream, and I don't know, played like 5 minutes of it, and YouTube flagged it. I guess OpenBuilds got notified and let it go, or YouTube just said whatever, and they let it out, but they had it locked up for about 12 hours. And I was like, oh, well, if I have to, I'll just edit that out later. Again, I'm going to do an edited version of this. So if someone wanted to build one of these and watch my video along with theirs, I would still recommend at least watching their video, even if you don't build along with it. Their video is wicked detailed, like wicked detailed. And again, the only thing I'm doing different is a couple of items I'm changing the order of operations, which if you pre-watch their video, you'll get it, and you can do that yourself. You know, and then like they tell you each individual ones of these. They like step by step by step by step tell you how to build one of these. Like every little washer. It's like once you do one, do 3 more or 2 more. You know, do 1 more without the box. Do, you know, one of these has the box on the screw side, or 2 of them do. And then 2 of them don't. It's like just make sure the box on one side or the other, you know. And it really doesn't even matter from the looks of it. I don't think it would even matter if these were showing in the front. It just makes it look prettier. But let's get to it, because that's what we're here to do. I got laundry done. It's out on the line. I got a half a cup of cold coffee. I got water if I need it. I got parts. Let's get to building. And again, I'm still going to use their video as a reference. Let's get to building. And let's not watch mine. I don't know why it went to mine, but I want theirs. Oh, God. This is the other reason I don't like using YouTube for everything. Because everything's an ad. Every time you want to go find something, you got to watch another ad. And it just gets annoying. And I want to find, they do have it all broken down on YouTube, where you can just, you know, click on a timeline and there's certain places. We are going to assemble the Y columns. So we need the gantry, which I believe this is the right one. Nope. Where are the 2 with the, need all 3 of the blocks. 2 of them have them on, and again, I think I've explained this. 2 of them have these blocks on the head side of the screws, and one of them has it, this one, on the bolt side. It's the only difference. The one with the bolt side goes with the ZX. It's actually part of the X. Let's move this because we're not really going to need it. So we need one of these, one of these. I believe it's going on this side of it anyways, which it is. I know it is. Basically, you're going to mount this here with 4 corner brackets, the cast ones, and you're going to put T-nuts in here, and you can bolt down. You can get through here. So the first thing to do, yeah, 8 T-nuts and 8. Oh, right, because you need them for the cast corner. Okay, I know what I'm doing now. All right, so nobody's here. That's weird. They at least usually have 1 or 2 of you crazy people here. Let's do some clicking around here first. It is kind of early on a Sunday morning. Did I even put this up on here? Did I post on Twitter that I was doing this? I don't know if I did or not. And I want to put
Twitter. I was doing this.
Stop talking. Pop out the chat. Just do all this before I get too far into it. And actually, I'm going to stop recording this because everything so far is absolutely pointless on that recording. And share. Hey, Jessen. Somebody's here. Did I post this on Twitter? Do you know? I can't remember. I've been doing so much stuff. I can't remember what I've done and what I haven't. I think I did. That's all right. If I do it again, everyone will be like, oh, you're spamming Twitter. Whatever. I am over it. I am over it. All right. Let us get to it. So, I have my X gantry, my Y gantry tower. What I'm going to need is 4 cast corners, 4 8mm, 8 10mm screws, and 8 T-nuts. So let's get all that stuff, which I already think I sorted out most of it. And this is another thing I don't like, and I'm going to leave it, but build over bots. You should put a 3D printer head on it and see how large of a print you can make. Yeah, Ivan's pretty much beat me to that. I only need 4 8s, right? Yep. If you don't know Ivan Mirandam, you should go watch him because he's freaking awesome. I'm going to need 8 10s. And again, I will be, when I'm all said and done, I'm making a paper reference sheet. I wouldn't call it an instruction sheet because it's certainly not enough to be full instructions. But I find that much easier than trying to rewind and pause and watch videos and do all that. And I'm going to use their T-nuts. I was thinking about using the aluminum ones, but you know what? I'm just going to use the ones they give me. They're stamped steel. I kind of don't like these a whole lot. Oops. Wasn't recording. That was dumb. If you've never seen him, go watch him. Ivan Mirandam. He does everything supersized. Like everything. He 3D prints everything supersized. He makes like these massive, like 6-8 foot long Nerf ball cannons and stuff. And he made a 3D printer that's like, what's up, 3D RCNC? He makes very large everything. He just makes everything huge. Is that 8? Yep, that's 8. And then I need corner brackets. This is one thing I don't like also, and I'm not really going to worry about it today. But like when I 3D print, build a 3D printer, and I may change it later. I have a feeling I'm going to be modifying this thing at some point, like I do with everything. Come on now. Just put enough tape on this thing. Can't even get the damn thing open. A baggie to hold a baggie. These things right here. And they have these tabs. Right here. I'll hold it up to this camera too for the recorded version later. They're good for lining up. They're actually made to line up when you set it in a channel this away. But when you go this away, they hold it up in the air and make it so the only part that's in contact are those 2 little itty bitty tabs. And a lot of times I'll take my regular hand router and put them in a clamp and buzz them off, or use a grinder and just buzz them off if I know I'm going flat to a face like this. They don't seem to care, and to be honest, Just not going to bother. I don't think it's going to be a structural difference for this. There's so much being held in place that if I see an area where I think it's wobbling because of that, I may take them off and grind the tips off. But then you'd have to use, where I'm using 10 millimeter, because of those, it's spacing it up off. I'd have to get 8 millimeter screws too, because then the 10 millimeter would be too long and actually bottom out inside the channel. No, because it does sit flat, and almost every time it's sitting in a groove one direction, so that holds it square. And then this, ends up being kind of goofy, but it still works. I mean, I've done it on 3D printers that just always drove me nuts, so I always ground them off. Anywhere it's really important, I mean, all it's doing is holding something there. Whatever, like this is already being held to this face, so those aren't going to make a particle of difference on it, because this face meeting this face, all it's doing is holding it there. So it's really not making a whole boatload of difference. I just don't like it. Like right here, these are, I don't know if you can see it, but they kind of don't. And they cut in and they mark up the aluminum, but that's life. There's just too many of them for me to sit there and grind them all off. And I think what I'm going to do, even though I'm not using it, is I'm going to put this one here just to hold it square. But basically, we're taking this and we're putting these here. And do I have the right one? Yeah, I do. Right? Well, I guess not. They're showing this one. No, they're showing these, but it goes the other way. Okay, I got it right. This goes this way. I knew that. All right. So it goes this way. Screws down. Bolts down. Screw heads up. Again, I don't think it matters a particle. It's just how it looks when it's assembled and what face you see. These are going here. A couple of screws going up from underneath. All right. We are golden. So the first thing you do is slide some of these in. Again, this is another thing I'm not big about. Making a TPU, yeah, but then it's not going to be structurally strong. If you use TPU, the TPU is flexible, and the whole point is to make it super duper rigid. I mean, that sounds good and everything, but yeah, I don't think that's the proper way. But anyway, we're going to slide some of these T-nuts in. This is another thing. I'm almost thinking these should have been mounted first and then the wheel assembly's built, because wouldn't it be easier? Oh, God, I'm going to have to run downstairs. I can hear the printer going, which means my mother's going to need her print. I'm watching their video. Yep, that's what I thought. Matter of fact, that's even easier. So one thing I do like about these T-nuts is they slide in better. So basically, you slide a nut through the back, start spinning the T-nut on. Because normally I use the cast aluminum T-nuts, not the spin ends. These are like a stamped steel. the thing about these are, see again, this is just, why am I struggling with this? I should have put all this on first, and then I wouldn't have to struggle to get it on there, if that makes sense. You do have to make sure the little nipple here on these are facing the channel. Don't use the 8s, use the 10s. I hope. This is what I hate about the frickin' using just YouTube. They have no instruction manual. Yeah, it is 10 millimeter. These videos are super duper detailed though. Like, if you're building one of those, you have to watch it just because there's a lot of good information with them. And then you basically just slide this on there, which isn't going to be so easy, I don't think. Which again, this would have been a whole lot easier to do before the wheels were installed. A whole lot easier. Yeah, I don't see this happening. This is not going to be, because you can't get in there to hold it out and feed it in and direct it. I mean, I could have done this so much easier if the wheel gantry wasn't assembled. I can see myself taking apart this wheel gantry, because this is just foolishness. And now I'm losing it because I loosened it up too much. Yeah, if I can avoid the turn-in ones, I don't use them when it comes to these things. But I mean, this is just, there's no way I'm going to sit here and do this, line them up, because now it's going to drop, so it won't line up. How this makes no sense to me. How they plan on this happening. This should have been done before the wheels went on, when you can get to the damn thing. Because they just spin on you and you can't line them up. Got one. It's probably going to come out trying to get the other one because I can't get to it. I don't know why they thought this would be the way to do it. There's just no way I can do this conveniently and get everything lined up and straight. I don't get it, how they expect you to slide all of these in here. It's just not going to happen. Because you can't. The minute I do that, they drop. That's really annoying. There's just no need for this. I just hate annoyance. Because I can't even get my hand in there to hold this one out. You know, the screw pops in as you're trying to line it up. Yeah, screw this. This thing's coming apart. Because that's just not worth the fight. Which totally sucks. I really don't want to take this whole frickin' assembly apart. God damn it. I'll lose all these parts now. There's got to be a way I can do this without frickin' taking them apart. The minute you do that, these drop, so you can't line them up. You can't get your hand in there to hold it up with the wheels in the way. This is really annoying. I'm getting kind of ticked off, if you haven't noticed. And of course, it's so very close in tolerance that even when you get it close to lined up, it still won't go on. Now, I got one on, but you can't get the other one on. Because it won't spin enough. And the minute I get it lined up enough, the other one's going to pop off. Hey, look at that. I got two. Yeah, if I were to build this again, I would definitely put this on before building the wheel truck. I did finally get it. But that is just, it would be so much easier to do without the wheels in the way. Let me retighten this. So I don't forget. Make sure my labels are up. They are. Make sure this is flush. It is. Reach through here. See, this isn't bad. I mean, this part of it doesn't bother me. This I completely understand. It's got feed holes, so you can feed the screw through to the other side. But trying to do that slide-in thing is just obnoxious and unnecessary, as far as I'm concerned. I'm gonna have to do that only once more, because the other one doesn't have any from the back, I don't think. So at least there's that. Make sure it's all square. I probably shouldn't even have tightened those yet. All right, we're moving on now that I'm calming down. Line it up. There's two threaded holes on each side here. That's what these are going to screw to. I really want to grind those and get rid of the tabs. I'm pretty sure I have 8mm screws too. Yeah, so these are going to get 10mm into here. Because of the stupid tabs. Eight, 10. Oh, I already put it in there. I mean, this thing is going to be rugged when it's all said and done, but I think the order of operation could be improved. Come on, I said pause. That's what I hated about it. Anyway, not picking on OpenBuilds at all. They are awesome people. Everyone has a difference in the way they like to do things. And that is that. But I do get 8 of these out. I only need 4. Well, I need 4 more for the other side. And you just screw it all together. Now they have, that's what I don't get. They have a really nice black corner instead of these cast ones with the tabs, without tabs. They're like machined, not cast, and they're wicked nice, which is probably why they're probably expensive, which is why they don't use them unless absolutely necessary. I know in the Z they use them because I think you need to use them for clearance of the wheels. I think these stick up too high. They're a little lower profile. But yeah, I'm not big on these little tabs on here that bite into things wrong. But that should be that. And there you go. That's the unit. That's how it looks. You can see how those little tabs don't like make it go flush to the plate, which in one way could be good. I mean, it's biting. Yeah, you've missed a few there, 3D RC CNC. This is like the 3rd or 4th one I think I've done. Because I have to do it around real life. I only have an hour here or an hour there where I can do parts. And I've been spending a lot of time reordering order of operations, just like I should have done here. Because again, if I'd have seen what I know now, I would definitely screw this to the plate first, put these push blocks on, and then assemble the wheel assembly. I'd put these on first, just so you don't have to deal with that whole slidey, goofy, trying to line it up thing. It's just more annoying than it's worth. But it's done. It's not completely impossible. And I need the other one of these, this one. And let's get annoyed again. Because there's another one to do right here. Because these are the Y ends that ride on the whole big long track. These are the big tall towers, basically. So again, I need 4 of these, 8 of these. 5, 6, 7, 8. And I need 4 8mm and 8 10s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And where the 8s go? It's the massive bag because that's like the #1 use. What's up, Mike? 1, 2, and I'll keep those way separate so I don't confuse them because they are very close in length, and I could easily grab an 8 when I need a 10 or a 10 when I need an 8. And let's get to this annoying thing that I have to do first, which is get these lined up and threaded on there. I mean, this whole process here is just could be eliminated. What's up, Mike? No biggie. I mean, it's just an annoyance, but like I said, everybody has a way of doing things that's a little bit different. And I've been doing enough of this type of stuff with 3D printers and so on and so forth that I have my preferred method. That's just not going to fit. And that's going to pop off. So it's literally got to fit. I mean, this is just why. Why am I doing this? Why did they make it so you have to fight it when it could have been so very easy? I mean, this is just obnoxious. Having to slide it and fight it for no reason, really. Trying to line these frickin' things all up and slide it around. And of course, one of them fell out because you have so limited amount of catch. Yeah, if you're going to build one of these, attach this first to the plate. Don't do it once the wheel assembly is built. Oh God, don't tell me I did that upside down too. I did. Damn it. That's the other thing. They want the eccentrics on the bottom. Which you can't flush it because they're actually, when they're in the open position, if you push it all the way down, this is actually sticking beyond there. Which is another thing that don't make sense with their instructions. Oh well. I'm going to probably have to loosen this all up and square it up anyways, because I don't think this thing's perfectly square right now. But it's held. And then we take one of these and we line it up with this hole, and we take another one and line it up with this hole. And then we take a 10 millimeter and one of these and line it up with this hole. We take another 10 millimeter and one of these and line it up with this hole. And then we take an 8 millimeter and we line it up with this hole. And just so you know, OpenBuilds didn't like totally design this. This is based on the Worker Bee open source CNC that uses 2020 extrusion. They modified it, and there's a lot of stuff they did that I like. There's other versions. The reason I went with this particular one, even though it's a tad more expensive and missing actually some parts, because you can get it a little cheaper and get like lead screws. I mean, linear rails instead of wheels and stuff like that, is service and location. All the other ones come from like China, and you have to wait forever. And if anything goes wrong, you're kind of screwed. And I had a shipping snafu, and OpenBuilds, without even a question, sent me out a whole new. All the extrusions got lost in the mail, and they just they looked at the tracking, said, "Yep, you're right," and poof, reboxed it, and out it went. So, yeah, and I had it in like 2 days. So, yeah. Reason I love OpenBuilds, because their customer service is really like second to none. Quite honestly, it's awesome. Completely and utterly awesome. I think what I'm going to do, and I don't think I have one here. Do I have one of my little mini squares? I was thinking I'll take a mini square and go from here to here and here to here to make sure it's square with this. I have a feeling I'm going to be adjusting all this later, so I'm going to snug it, but not super tighten it. So the other one I got to move anyways, because you don't want all the weight of the whole gantries, because this rides on the side. Gets pushed by the lead screw. This carries the whole X gantry and Z and motor and everything. So normally I wouldn't care that the eccentrics are on top. If it was like a 3D printer, I'd almost rather it, because then you can get to them. That's a lot of weight on the eccentric nut. The eccentric nut, you just want pushing it or pulling it down, working with gravity. So I have to flip this one, because like a dummy, I have the eccentric nuts on the top. So all I got to do is loosen up and slide it. Slide it down. So give these all a little loosening. And that was my own stupidity. I wasn't paying attention because I was pissed off about other things. Hopefully I can just slide this thing. And there we go. Eccentrics on the bottom. It's flush. Tighten everything back up. Like I said, I have a feeling I'm going to be checking it for square and adjusting, because there is a little play in these kind of attachments, which is why they have so many attachments. And you got to admit, there is a lot of connection between these two, which is why I'm not too worried about these being tabbed. But there you go. Those are two done. These are going to go on either side. Big, long C-beams. They're C-beams. There's two of them that attach to these going across that carry the whole Z. And that is that. Next is this puppy and this puppy. And we basically do the same thing, but we take the two of them and put them together. Like so. And you want the eccentrics down. This is going to be a little issue, and they make it very clear it is going to be a little issue, because to adjust these, once you get the C-beams in there, it's difficult to get to them. They have you slide both C-beams in, and then kind of slide one of them back and forth to adjust the upper. I'm going to slide one in, adjust it, slide the other one in, and adjust it. It should be easier, because one of them, even though it's on the bottom, when it's still, laying there, you can adjust the eccentrics easily on this one. Or this one, so I'd slide this one in, which is the top, adjust the eccentrics, then slide this one in and adjust the eccentrics. Make sure everything's square and level, and the tension's equal, and wheels are rolling, and blah blah blah. But for now, we need to attach the shorter one of these, because this is just basically a stiffener that goes on here, and it really does nothing but stiffen this, because then I'm going to flip it over, and this one goes on the other side. This is the one that carries the whole motor, and this goes on here like so on the other side and carries the actual router, if you're getting what I'm doing here. So Y gantry, Z gantry, I'm going to need spindle mount, Z2X assembly. So I got to make the mated carriage. Did I? Y gantry tower. That I just did. Z gantry assembly. Take plate, attach back like nuts, screws. Shim wheels. I think I missed this step. In my writings. And of course now I'm going to have to watch ads. Oh, maybe not. Y, second Y, X, second gantry plate, X axis carriage assembly. That's the one I want. So that's what I need to write in here. I thought I did. Assembly X carriage. Assemble gantry one without drive box. Yeah, I did. There we go. That's it. Set the two gantry assemblies flat together, touching the unit with the drive box on the bottom, which doesn't make sense because those should be on the back. Set 20 by 80 extrusion on top. Attach 4 casters. That's wrong. Oh, you know what? They have it oriented wrong when they build it in the video, but then later they straighten it out. I do remember that now. So I'm going to need, because I know it goes this way, because the big long C-beam, and I can demonstrate, this will be the back, and the two C-beams are arced. If these were the two X C-beams, they go this way when you're facing it, which means that's got to be in the back. This is in the back, so this is actually correct, even though they show it different, because they fix it later, which is another thing that drives me nuts. So I need, like, I don't know, a buttload of these, right? 8 cast corners. That means I need 8 of these. 8 of these. 8 cast corners. That will need 8 millimeters, I believe it says, right? Yep. Everything's in 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh yeah, 6, 7, 8. And then I need 10s. What do I do with the 10s? What do I do with the 10s? 8s, 20s, self-tapping, 10s. And I will say they have these things really well marked. 1, 2, 3, 4. There, so I'll keep them separate because they are very close to the same length, and I can see myself confusing myself. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more, baby. And that should be it. And all we do here is line everything up all square. Slide a couple in from here. Oops. Was putting it in backwards. Always, always, always have the little puff of the flange going into the track. And line it up with this hole. Line it up with this hole. I need the brackets. What did I do with them? So many parts! I just had them here. Here they are. Gonna need a buttload of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know, I wonder if I have some of those ground. Because I used to grind them all the time. Let me look, because I'd rather use them ground if I have them. Those are on ground. I didn't even think of that. I know I ground a bunch of them, but I guess not. I got plenty. I got some of theirs. This is their own version, which they use in certain areas, but I don't know why they don't just use them everywhere, because these are way better. I wish I had more of these, because I would just use them over those. But I don't. So I ain't. So anyway, let's just do it. It ain't gonna hurt it. In any way, shape, or form, I can't imagine. And you just screw these on loosely. By the way, they come with all the tools and everything. This is my set because I left their set out in the garage. But they come with the ball driver, literally exactly the same as this. Just got white instead of red. And this wicked awesome wrench. This thing is, it looks flimsy. It ain't. This thing's like solid. It weighs a lot. It's heavy duty. And then slide one in this side. Line up to this. Slide one in this side. I'm going to lose my driver. And line it up somewhat to that. Take 10 millimeter, put it in there, line it up to that. Take the 10 millimeter, put it in there, line it up to that. It's right in there. Come on, baby. Take an 8 millimeter, line it up to this hole. Drop it in there. Another 8 millimeter in this hole. Line it up there. Another 8 millimeter in this hole. Line it up there. Now again, these are all threaded in these gantry plates. Spin it around. Do the other side. One there. And I just put that in backwards. No, I did. Very important you not put that in backwards. Because that'll make the screw all stand out and do weird things. And not tighten up properly. And the whole thing will be goofy. Very, very goofy it will be. Slide that in there. Slide that in there. Oops, wrong one. Slide these in here. Thread them into the pre-threaded hole. Okay, why is it not threading in? Probably because I don't have it lined up with the hole, huh? Where's the hole? Well, this cast corner's got like gunk in it. It's got like castings in it, but I think it'll still work. Matter of fact, I know it will. Not gonna hurt a thing. Oh, where's the hole? I'm not lined up in the hole anyway. Somewhere. Something's not lining up proper like. Come on. Why are you doing this? There we go. That would be why. And stack it up. Push it down. Push it to it. Yeah, I really dislike those stupid tabs badly. They make it so these things don't sit square as easily. If that makes sense. And I think I brought my straight edge out to the garage. Pretty sure I did. New straight edge. Make sure it's all straight. Bring this to the bottom. And again, I have a feeling I'm going to be adjusting all this later. These have to be butting, they say. And then this is flush on the bottom. So the first thing I should probably do is make sure this is flush on the bottom and just clamp down these two on either side here. sure this is all set. I clamp down these two now. Yeah, it's big. It's a 5-foot cube. The build, that's this machine size. The build cut area is 49 or 50 by 53 or something like that. What's up, Viking? Yeah, it's a big monster machine. It's a wood cutter. It's not for aluminum. I may try aluminum. There's a lot of people that say it's stiff enough to do mild aluminum very slowly, blah, blah, blah. It's based on, I mean, you're into CNC, obviously, by your name. It's based on the Workbee open sourced aluminum extrusion CNC machine. They just made their own bigger, better, beefier version of it, but it's all the same basic thing. There was a couple things that I don't like. There's one slightly smaller, the 1000. I almost got that because of money, and there's that. So that's how that should look. And it's not fully tightened because I have a feeling that drives me nuts. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but see how those tabs are holding it off? And it's doing the same thing here too. I don't know if you can see it in the cameras, but I can almost guarantee I'm taking all of these off and I'm going to grind the tits off. But that's basically that side. But yeah, this thing has two of these really long, 5 foot long, that go in here. And that's what the X gantry is held by. These are the Ys, and basically these go like so onto it, like that. And then another one that basically rests right on this from the looks of it. And they stretch across the whole length of it. This is the Y. Yep, it's big. It's very, very big. My brother actually bought this. I didn't. He basically wants to retire. And that is not titled. There it is. That dropped it down. We have something not. These wheels are touching right here because the eccentrics are open. That's another thing they don't tell you. It's almost impossible to get these plates perfectly tight because the eccentrics are open and it actually touches these wheels very closely. I almost want to put a clamp on it while I'm assembling it, which again, I have a feeling I'm pulling this all apart and grinding those off. That just kind of drives me nuts. And this basically does the same thing, if I remember correctly, right here. But again, they have you mount this. They have you take this, mount it on there, roll it up, adjust your eccentrics, mount this thing all together, take this off, mount this to it, which I already did because I saw that and was like, why am I taking it off just to mount that? But they have you mount this whole thing, and then you have you loosen it all up after you get it all square, shift it up because you have to put the push plate on the bottom. So I'm going to actually put that push plate on right now because that's what you flush with the bottom of this gantry. So now I got to find that push plate and the sheet here. I should reprint this sheet because last night when I was looking at it, I had the freaking pages numbered, and I think I'm gonna right now. Documents, OpenBuilds, 1515 pages. Come on now, and print. And I've added some stuff since I printed this one. And of course, it'll run out of toner because it says it's running out of toner, which I've ordered, but I won't get for a week. Like everything. Don't need this anymore because it's printing. And why did it stop? Starting page 2. Don't tell me you're going to run out of toner and I'm going to have to shoot it to mom's printer and drive me nuts. What is the problem? Pause. Ready to print. What's going on? Come on. Seriously? Seriously? Can it just not do that? Oh, I hear it printing. I'll be right back. I might have to run downstairs too, so it might be 5 minutes. Not even. And I'm back. And we got sheets. And we can quit that. See llama run, yep. But now it's got page numbers. So when I keep flipping them over and looking, I know what page I'm on. Spindle mount to Z Gantry. Already did that. Z to X Gantry assembly. Gantry mated carriage. 250 C-beam. Z axis assembly. I'm going to need 8 black angle corners. I'm going to need 8 T-nuts. And they want the black angle corners, which are right here. That's all you get is 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's the only place you use them because it's got to clear. The wheels have to clear this off of this. If you use those cast ones, it would stick up just enough to catch the wheels. I bet you. T-nuts, 16 8mm. Which I really wish they'd just use those everywhere. Maybe that's what I'll do is just buy a bunch of those. They're kind of expensive though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's what it said, right? 16. I'm going to want the end mount. This is my edit. And I'm going to need 4 20mm screws. So tapping 20s. I think you only get like 8 of these. Because you only need these 20s for the top and bottom of this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to need the lower push plate, which is the half-sized one. And it's very big and thick. So literally the first thing I'm going to do, even though they have you do this much later, is I'm going to put this on here now, if I can get it out of the damn bag. I'm going to have him put this on. Now, this thing's massive. Holy crap. This is one solid piece. I love it. I mean, these are really well done. You know, they're all etched with their name, their version. I like the version. It seems kind of pointless, but if you ever, like, you know, 5 years I had to go buy parts, they're changing, iterating, updating. You know, everybody does. And, you know, I can say, hey, I need a version blah, and they can get me one, or, hey, I can make my own. Now, this C-beam is pre-threaded, so these are going in rather easily. And again, I'm putting this in now instead of much, much later, so I don't have to disassemble this and move it all. And they go into 4 holes that are recessed. You have to make sure the bearing is up. The only thing I don't like about this particular one is all the lead screws on X and Y are under tension, which is why I didn't like the 1100. They have 11 or 1000 instead of the 1500, which is 1000 millimeters, which is like 3 foot something square. They're under pressure. So as the thing's moving back and forth, it's putting pressure on the lead screw. And the lead screws get, if it's moving fast, they get lead screw whip, where the lead screw starts flipping around because it's bowing. I don't like it because when you start getting, you know, some forces, if you start cutting a little too fast or something, the lead screw will bend. Even when it's moving slow, it's bending, so you get inaccurate movement. Where if you tension the lead screw and it's pulling, it's always in a straight line. It's always pulling, you know, the lead screw out. So, yeah, that was the final decision on getting this massively big one over the one set size down, is I did not want the one that was tensioned. I mean, compression. So now I need to, and I should have put some, I need some peanuts. And I believe I need 4 on each side on the bottom channel here of the C-beam. So 4 go in here. This one goes down to about there. This one goes down to about here. One, whoops, put it in the right way. Make sure it goes the right way. It goes here. This one goes here. And then you take these, and you take an 8 millimeter screw, and you screw it to it. There's a little C. One of these, screw it to it. One of these. Yeah, they you know, for all my whining about certain orders of operation, they're just literally orders of operation, and you know, they don't hurt the final machine much. To me, it just seems kind of nutty to do certain things in certain ways, and I have no qualms at all about the machine itself. I know what it'll do. Everything I expected to do, and a buttload more. I believe, and I know I've talked to a lot of really good CNC guys, I believe I will be able to cut aluminum with this to some extent. Will I do it? You know, it won't be able to do it a lot, and it won't be able to do it fast. But I think this thing's beefy enough, which was the other reason I wanted it, is I believe I'll be able to cut aluminum. And the plan is to actually build another one using this, cutting the aluminum once, again, way down the road. and just being able to go and buy the extrusions and the C-beams and cut my own brackets and design it myself. So those are in there loosely. Let's do the other side. Hold on loosely. Oh, don't sing, because, you know, I'll be blocked. YouTube will scream. Really think they take their copyright protection too strong in some areas and not strong enough in others. And a drop. Again, I kind of like the cast T-nuts, cast aluminum T-nuts better than these. Not the spin-ins. I hate the spin-ins. There's a couple of spin-ins here, which I think I'm not going to be using. They do it for convenience, and I think I'm going to inconvenience myself and use some of my cast aluminum ones over the spin-ins, because I absolutely hate spin-in T-nuts if I can avoid them. Absolutely hate them. So that's all there. Slide these around to get these lined up. Some of those right around there somewheres. Where's that? Right there somewheres. Right here somewheres. That's too tight. Where's the hole? There it is. That's what she said. That's what he said. And there's all that. Then you stand this up. And again, that's why I put the plate on first. They have you do this. Stand it up. Butt this down to the table. Make sure everything's square and straight. Then you have to take it all apart again to put this on and redo it. And I'm like, no. I just don't think so, guys. I'd rather just do it once and do it right the first time. So you just tighten all of these up, and you guys can't really see what I'm doing, but get over it. And I don't actually fully tighten these when I do this. I get them kind of snug and held in place because these will spin. So you want to snug everything up all the way around and then do your final tightening. So all your brackets, they don't twist as much. Like you can see, like this one right here is kind of twisted. I might redo that. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but it's not square. That's what I like about these, is they kind of sit much squarer and flatter. And then you go around and snug everything up good. These are definitely not coming apart because I really like these. I think I have a few. I wonder if I have 4, 8, and just replace these with them. I know I have 8mm screws. And that so far is where we go. And then this goes on here. Look, it's like I'm almost getting something done here. I think I need a coffee break. Very cold coffee. I made this at 7 o'clock this morning. It's now 10 o'clock. And it's my first cup, which is really amazing because I've usually had like 3 by now. Time to go loosen a fingertip cutting aluminum extrusion on a scroll saw. Yeah, that'll do it. They make thimbles. They do make thimbles. Okay, then. Yeah, baby. Now, I want you to adjust this all into place now. I don't think I'm going to yet. Yeah, why not? Let's adjust the eccentrics. Now, here's another thing I don't like the order of operation. There's 3 wheels here. 3 wheels on this gantry. They have you start here and tighten this one, tighten this one, tighten this one. That can actually, like, shift your gantry. If I'm going to adjust eccentrics now, I'm going to start with the middle one, which is going to pull the whole gantry up evenly, and then tighten these 2 up to it. Which should, in theory, make the whole thing sit better. See, already it's got very little play in it. I can pull it front to back on each end, but it's got no play rock. And that feels about right. Yep. So when you roll it, it sticks, but if I hold it and I really push and spin the wheel, it will spin. Which I learned a lot of people over tighten these. You could probably, these clear ones are supposed to be a harder plastic than the other ones. I wish, okay, that thing's like 3/4 down. There's a mark on here too, and I'm going to try and get these marks to be as close to exactly the same on all 3. And I kind of wish, that looks like it's the same spot, but that's loose. Bring this one to the same spot. And always rotate them the same direction. Not that I think it really matters, because as long as it tensions, it tensions. This one's got to go a little bit more. And I think that's it. God, that's nice and smooth. Where's my little marky book? All right, well, I don't need the mark. I can tell by the points in the faces, and they're all exactly flat up. So they should be all in the same position. And they feel like they're all in the same position. So that's pretty darn good. And that puppy flows smoothly. That is wicked sweet. What's up, Danny boy? Watching from the living room. Oh, baby, feel the motion, Danny. Feel the motion. Maybe I can get your wife going for you. Feel the motion. No, that was just rude. Sorry. Couldn't help myself. All right. Next is mounting the motor and everything to this puppy, which I don't know if I have the lead screw. I might have to go out and get the lead screw out of the garage. There's a little short lead screw that goes here, and then the top plate, and then the bearings and all that crap. I might have to go do another run, dudes. Forgot the lead screw. I honestly didn't think I'd get this far. And I really want to grind these down. I don't like these tabs on these aluminum extrusion, on these cast aluminum angles. Love these black ones. They sit all flush and nice. Hysterical? Yeah. Oh, baby. Anyway, yes, I'm going to have to run. I will be back. It'll only take me a second. I just have to grab the lead screw out of the garage. I am going to need a knife because it's all wrapped up in plastic. But I'm going to need that like right now. I'll be right back. You know, I was just thinking, I'm back, just thinking I might actually have one of these here, but I do believe, excuse me, I do believe this is a slightly different profile than our 3D printed ones. But anyway, all you do is spin it into the block in the back of this thing. And look, it's going up. And then, now again, they have you do weird crap here. I'm going to find this much easier. They have you like do all kinds of weird threading and fighting. And I got to put the bearing, the push block, and the lock nut, or not push block, but the push bearing on here now. And I got to make sure I get the right bearing and everything because there are different bearings for different sections here. Let's see. Meeting Z-axis garage. See, that's the other thing. They have you like build this and then stop and then go build the main frame and then come back and do all of the drivetrain, which makes no sense to me. Transmission assembly. Bring back in our Z-axis assembly, which is where they tell you you gotta redo everything. Where is it? Yeah, that's what I hate about YouTube. Not that I hate YouTube, but where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Pause. I need that list. Lead screw, NEMA 23 motor, which is right here. We got the lead screw. I'm going to need a motor. Motor. For all my 3D printing friends that are used to the little NEMA 17s, because this kind of freaked me out too when I saw these. These NEMA 23s are like freaking humongous. I almost want to build a 3D printer with these just cuz. I want to take the Hemera extruder and mount this monstrosity to it. This thing weighs more than this whole printer. This thing's freaking huge. Humongous. Massive. Big. Anyway, moving on. I need I think I got this list here somewhere. Z transmission. Lead screw. Motor. 2 50mm screws. 45s, 50s. And again, they have all of these bagged, marked, counted out for you. It's a pretty nice kit. I'm going to need 2 of those. Here's another thing I would like to edit. You'll see in a minute. Is this motor only gets held by 2 points with a half block, and it's kind of a big motor with a lot of torque, and it gets basically screwed to exact same plate as this with only 2 mounts instead of 4. And I can see the torque on this thing having enough torque to spin it. Now it is just biting. It's just a Z. It's very slow. It has pressure on it, but the pressure, once it's a short-term pressure, it cuts down into it, and then all the pressure is left and right after it's, set in its height. So I don't know if it's as important. The only reason I can see that they didn't use a full block is I'm wondering if the head of the router hits it. Otherwise, they could bring this out farther, but then the whole thing, I mean, you're already way out with all of this weight on that double gantry of the X, that I could see that being another issue, that being more of an issue than the motor. So we'll see. I may edit that later. I may make one with this. So I need another one of these massive plates, which will go on the top, because this goes on here like so. And what else do I need? 250 screws, CN mount, flex coupler. somewhere. Some flex couplers. Only 4, but there should be 5, I thought. Oh no, there's only 4 because 1 here, 1 on the X, and 2 on the Y. Flex coupler. These are nice flex couplers. These are not wimpy like 3D printing ones. This is like beefy. I still prefer they are a clampy kind, even though it's a spring in the middle. They're still a clamp instead of just the grub screw. It does have a grub screw, but it clamps onto it, which is nice. I do change a little. Again, I change a little bit of their order of operation because I have discovered they have you put it on, you use the grub screw, set it, and then clamp it. The problem with that is it off centers this. If you put this on, clamp it, and then use the grub screw to lock it into place permanently, it should stay more centered, I believe. We'll see. Because basically, if you put the grub screw, it pushes it, it pushes the lead screw over on the thing. But we'll find out. What else do I need? I need 2 lock collars, 2 8mm shims, 2 8mm bearings, 8 20mm screws. Let's get those. 10mm. What did it say? 8 20mm? How come I only have 4? Oh, you know why? Because I use these 4 here already. That's why. I gotta re-rate that. 4. I know that's what that is. That's got no lead in it. That's what she said. You got no lead in it. 4. Change. That's what those are for. They're for this. And a 2 40mm spacers. Spacers! Ivan Miranda spacers! Which I believe is what these are. 40s, yep. If you don't know who Ivan Miranda is, we had that conversation earlier. Go watch him. He's hilarious. And he does some really freaking bizarre but extremely cool stuff. As many of my friends know. And I need the bearings and push things, which are here somewhere. I know I have them. I just don't know what I did with them. I think these are the lock collars. Two lock collars. I have 2 spacers, but those aren't the right ones. You'd think I had all this organized, and I kind of did, and now I don't. I need the little bearings. Motor. Electronic-y things. Okay, what did I do with them? I had them, I know I did. A little cleanup, I guess, so I can sort through stuff. Remember looking at them. I need the bearings. What did I do with the bearings? Where's all my little tubs? Nothing in those. That could be a tragedy. I had them yesterday, and I looked at them and said, what do I need those bearings for? Now I know what those bearings are for. And I need that right now because they go into this. They go on to that because these go on now. And there's some really thin, weird washers I need too. And I know this goes on here first, which I think I got to back that out. I do. Too small. Too big. Just right. This goes on here. So I got to back it out even more. And that's a regular lock collar. It's very fancy. It's heavy duty. Got a grub screw on it. If you've never seen one, it's just a big metal ring. Actually, I think it's like, I don't know what it is. It doesn't feel like steel. It feels almost like brass or copper or something. It might just be steel and tinned. It's kind of heavy. All right, what do I do with those bearings? I thought I put them in one of these little containery containers. I thought. There's those. There they are. Bearings. I'm going to need some washers too. Those are the 35s. Those are the 40s. I already got 2 out. Those are the screws. Those are those. These are 2 different bearings. I think those are actually the ones I need. Here's all my push blocks. Those are the 2 washers I need. Don't need those. Not going to need those. I know those are the 2 bearings. These are flanged bearings. These are non-flanged bearings. These are the ones you're going to use on this. The flanged ones you're going to use on the X and Y, because this is under compression. These are under tension. That don't make sense to you? Sorry, I can't help you. Okay, we got everything. Let's get to it. So I believe, let me just double check. I have to put this in the slot. And then this little washery thing goes on. And basically all this does is, I can actually show you. This is going to go in the slot in these right here. Then you're going to put this little washer on it. And then this. And all this washer is doing is making sure that this lock collar doesn't rub on the bearing. It just spaces it off so it's only in contact with the inner race of the bearing. So that goes on. That goes on. And you really can't see it in this camera, but you put the lock collar on, the washer on, and then the bearing on. And you just slide it down, making sure the bearing goes in. Compress it. Bring the lead screw down until it's approximately flush with the bottom of this plate, and then tighten up the lock collar. And that's done. And then you basically do the same thing on the other side. So what I do with the other lock collar right here. Get rid of all these frickin' baggies. I got a lot of baggies. Lock collar. 8mm, very thin, very wimpy washer. All it is a spacer so the lock collar doesn't rub on the bearing. Bearing. Then this whole big block here with the 20mm screws. Again, making sure that the recess is, facing the bearing for the bearing pocket. Call the bearing pocket, even though I think they call it something else. Screw this thing on. And the C-beams, I was going to call it 2020. The C-beam's pre-threaded, which is nice. I don't have to cut threads. It's weird. Some areas they make you cut threads with self-tapping screws, and some areas you don't. I'm assuming where this is a major transmission area, major structural thing is why they pre-thread it. Make sure you don't screw it up, because all the stuff they make you do is just like cover plates and crap. Or if you screw it up, it's not really a big deal. If you screw up cutting the threads into the end. All right, tighten that all up. Pinch that up against there. Push that down. And actually, what I think I might do is put a little extra tension by turning these out. Just a little bit. So when I tension this and then tighten those, I know it's tight, because I don't think that is right now. It's pretty close. It's got a little movement, but now that when I tighten these up, I know it's tight. There's a good amount of pressure on that thing. Might be too much. We'll find out in a second. If you notice, I'm going around snugging them all up. It might actually be too much. Yeah, it's moving all right. Yeah, that's fine. That's awesome, actually. Then we take this, and they want the wires, and I'm going to go with that out the back. So here's the back of the motor. Put the two screws on here. Put these on here, and the thing I forgot is the coupler. Which is right here. Now they have you attach this. I'm just going to slide it on there for now and not actually attach it. Take these and screw them into the little threaded blocks here, making sure it slides up and lines up on the coupler. What's up, head fog? Didn't even see anybody else. Haven't really been paying attention. Now you can slide this and center it. And again, we do need to spin this. Should have spun this already. You need to get this pointing up. There's a flat spot in the motor, which anybody that's built 3D printers with me knows this already. And you want that grub screw lined up with it. And I will start setting the grub screw for the flat spot, but I don't actually tighten it. I just make sure it's not going to misalign. Because again, I prefer to use the clamp first, because that should center. I need this one. That should center the coupler better. In other words, so the coupler doesn't do this as it goes around. If you put the grub screw in first, it shifts it over. It pushes the whole coupler off center, if that makes sense. Where if you tighten these first, they will keep it more centered. It's really not a big deal, because it's not like it's moving that fast that it's going to be an issue. You know, it's not like a weight wobbly thing. It's just one of those drive me nuts things. And actually, I want a little more torque on it, because I'm not getting, this has got like grease on it on the handle a little bit, and I can't tighten with it. But I have these nice little buggers right here I think it's this size, isn't it? It is. And this puppy, which you can, if it's going the right direction, ratchet it right in there. If it don't strip. Am I one size off? It may be. I don't think so, though. What size is that? No. It should have been the right size. It's moving. So I believe I have this whole Z assembly done. And there you go. Wow, that thing weighs a freaking ton. That's one big monstrosity of a machine, man. That is some serious monstrosity. Look, it works. Trying to get it for this camera too, which is about ready to die, I think, from the battery. Yeah, it's only got about 20 minutes left, which means I'm going to kill it now anyways. I wanted to get this done anyways, which is really all I cared about getting done today. It's looking nice. I may, and I think I'm going to go out in the garage and take a bunch of these and cut those tabs off and redo these. I don't like the tabs. And I have 8mm screws. Again, if you cut the tabs off, you have to replace these 10mm screws right here with 8s that are going into the extrusion. Because otherwise the 10mm screw will bottom out on the inside of the extrusion in the channel and not tighten correctly. So if you do that, if you decide to be crazy and overkill like me, because I'm gonna, I'm just gonna. If you do it, you have to change the screws over. Which, before I do it, let me make sure I have 8mm screws in abundance. I know I do, but I just bought more not too long ago. Actually, I have a whole bunch of those. I just bought two. Because I was actually going to use these on the hodgepodge, which I will get back to that someday. I have the 8mm screws in abundance. I know I have a bunch, but I don't know if I have enough to do this whole machine. These are all 8s. I should have enough to do this whole machine over. What do you think? 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Yes. Plus a bunch loose. Which means I'm going to end up with a buttload of leftover 10mm. But I just, like this one right here. I don't know if you can see it. This one's all crooked. This one's all crooked. That one's kind of straight. That one's crooked. I just don't like how crooked they sit because of it. And I don't think they give you as good a bite. I mean, I don't know. It bites too because, it's literally that little tooth is biting into the aluminum. So that might be an advantage, but I don't see it as a big one. I really don't. And I kind of like the idea of grinding them off and having these sit flush and tight and just be a little bit nicer. So I think I'm going to kill it because I've been going for an hour, almost 2. This baby's basically built. Very nice. Do I have 8 of these? I might just replace those now. Just put the black ones on. How many do I have? Not enough. Not enough. Bummer. That's all right. You can see I got even more of those cast ones, so if I screw anything up, I have replacements. Because you know me, I will screw something up. It wouldn't be llamified if I didn't screw it up at least once or twice. That is one massive. So this is, just so you know, this is the X/Z gantry assembly. All done, ready to go. And then the 2 Y gantries. So far, if I were going to shave these, I need 8 and 8. Because I'll do these too. I don't like the way those are holding. I think that can be a much stronger joint by cutting those off and having this go nice and flush. So if I do 16 of these, I can switch them over to ground downs. I think I'm gonna. I know I'm gonna. Which means I also need 16 more just for that. 16 more 8mm screws instead of 10mm length screws. Yeah, it's gonna happen. I wish I had the black ones. I really like those. They're just nicer. They just look nicer. But it's not really important. And that's the machine. Bringing her up. Coming up, baby. Coming up. Now they do have this. Here's another thing I like about this machine and their thought process. They have this extra long by about 10mm. Depending on your wasteboard, you can lift it and raise it. And you can actually add 10mm or 20mm or 30mm worth of depth. You can actually lift this thing even higher and get more cut depth by just taking this whole thing, loosening it, sliding it up, re-squaring it. Yeah, it's kind of a pain in the butt, but let's say you wanted to do like, I don't know, I think the cut area on this is like 3.5 inches. Your total cut depth. I'm not sure. It's got to be more than that. I don't know. It's a lot for what it is. And you can actually lift it and get like another inch. You know, it's not as stable. They tell you it's not as stable, blah, blah, blah. You know, you're lifting. But you can also lower it if you have a really thin thing and, you know, you got to get it closer or your wasteboard is worn out. And your wasteboard, if you don't know what a wasteboard is, it's the board your material sits on. You have to flatten that. One of the first things you cut is the wasteboard. You take a big flat bit to cut right here. And it's basically just a kind of a big round flat bit with teeth on it. And you basically take the whole wasteboard and go back and forth and you flatten the wasteboard to the machine. That way, when your material goes on it, it's all trimmed. It's like tramming your bed on a 3D printer. Basically, this is how you trim the bed, is by cutting it away. So they make this adjustable in height. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but it can be done, which is kind of cool, the way they designed it. And I don't know if that's part of the original open worker bee open thing or if OpenBuilds does it this way, but yeah, you got to admit this thing is pretty freaking beefy. That is freaking gnarly. Really, really gnarly. So there's that. What are you guys up to? Anybody doing anything fun and exciting? I'm going to kill it in about a minute. I can shut that off now. That's got like 3 minutes left of battery life. I have another battery. I did also record with the camera opening the box of extrusions. I didn't do a live stream with it when they showed up because it was late, and I kind of wanted to just do it and get it over with. But I did set up the camera. Not that anyone cares about splitting open a box and going, yeah, look, extrusions. Some of these, opening of a box to display something, the opening, not doing anything with it, I just never got. It's like, yeah, it's a box with parts in it. Yay. If you're going to build it, yay. Printing the V0.1 parts. Very nice for you. Oh, wait, you won that thing last night, didn't you? Who won that? You won that. Dude, that's awesome. You won that, right? On who won it last night? I know it was a Mike. Wasn't it a Mike? Mike somebody? I thought it was you. Won the V0 on Nero stream last night. I remember him saying there was a bunch of mics that there was like 5 mics, and he's like, which mic? Oh well. Somebody won one. Which is awesome. Freaking LDO is just awesome. They're just, and I'm not even sure if it's the company that's awesome. They make nice stuff, but Jason, they've got the perfect rep there. That guy is just, he's just awesome. And that can make or break a company. There's some other Chinese well-known 3D printer companies that have some representatives that I think are of poor taste. Not going to get into it, but yeah. This thing is freaking gnarly. Holy crap. This thing's got to weigh 20 pounds. Let's weigh it. I got my scale right there. Oh, crap. Not that it's that accurate, but and no, I'm not going to read it out. 10 pounds. Almost exactly. It's like 10.2 pounds. Could you imagine a 3D printer whipping around a 10-pound freaking extruder head? Yeah. That thing is pretty gnarly. All right. Well, I'm going to kill it. You all have a good day. See yous.